Welcome everybody. We've got a nice gentle yoga class today. We'll be working into our shoulders, our hips, and do a full body, nice slow stretch. Have a strap nearby for class. We'll be using that. And then we're going to be starting in a comfortable lying down position on our mat. Stretching out nice and long. And when we find our way onto the mat, find a little bit of movement in the feet, little wiggle in the toes, feeling into the feet, rolling out the ankles, giving your wrists little massages, little rolling out of the wrists, just moving some of our smaller joints. And slowly beginning to find some stillness here. Shaking out any of those wiggles to help get you completely comfortable and relaxed on the mat. Taking time to notice where we are making contact with the floor. Heels, hip, back, hands, head, just noticing that sensation, that sense of support from the ground, from our mat. Taking a few breaths here to just feel into the different parts of our body. Noticing if there are any spots that are needing a little extra time or attention. And slowly just cataloging these spots. Not assigning any quality to it or awareness to our breath. I like to place one hand on my belly and one hand on my chest. And I can begin to watch the breath move through my torso. Taking just a few moments here to notice, to enjoy the natural rate of breath. And you might notice that it's just moving through the upper part of your lungs, the upper part of your chest. Let's begin to foster some of our yogic breathing. On your exhale, push out all the last little bit of breath in your lungs, drawing the lower belly in a smidge. As you inhale, we'll breathe first into the belly, pushing the belly up, and then expanding the chest, feeling the chest rise. Take an extra little sip of air in at the very top. And then as you exhale, feel the chest lower first, drawing the belly in last, squeezing out that last little bit of air. Again, like that, filling the belly first, filling the chest. And exhaling slowly, release the chest down first, squeezing the air out of the lungs, and then we'll draw the belly in. Again, lifting the belly on the inhale, lifting and expanding the chest on the very top, taking another little sip of air in, and then exhaling out nice and slow through the chest, dropping the belly down last. Take another 2 rounds of breath on your own, aiming to make each inhale, slightly bigger than the last. Making the exhales slower than the previous. Our final round of breath, the longest, slowest, most full, most complete breath. Ending at the bottom of the exhale, squeezing every little last bit of breath out of the lungs. Feeling that sense of emptiness, that waiting. And now find a rate of breath in between the natural breath that we first found and then this yogic breath. Something that is longer than your natural breath, but easier to maintain than that full belly, full chest breath. Something that is nourishing and full, and yet easy to maintain. Allowing this breath to nourish our practice. Noticing the sensations in the hands as the belly and the chest lift and rise. Maybe not as much, but still that little bit of movements, that up and down wave sensation in the hands. Now, if you would like to dedicate today's practice to someone or something or an intention that you have for yourself, I invite you to take the time to make that intention, that dedication now. Breathing the intention in and exhale, releasing it off onto the back shelf of your mind. Knowing that that intention is there. Palms pressed down into the floor. We're going to find some muscle engagement here, isometrically squeezing the toes up towards the sky. Squeeze your glutes like you're lifting your bottom up off the mat. Press the shoulders down into the floor. Press the hands down into the floor. Find a little squeeze in the arms, the shoulders, the lower body. Almost like you can push yourself off your mat with this muscle engagement. You're feeling nice and engaged here through the body, starting to warm up the muscles here. Now on your inhale, we're going to relax that, release that. Point the toes towards the short edge of the mat. Lift the arms up overhead. Arch the lower back up off the floor. Get this nice long stretch, imagining that you're waking up nice and leisurely, getting that good morning stretch in, feeling nice and long through the body. On your exhale, we'll reverse that, coming back to the first part of the pose, flexing the toes up towards the sky, bringing the arms back down by the hips, pressing the palms into the floor, spreading the shoulder blades into the mat, squeezing the glutes, pressing the shoulders, the hands, the heels into the floor. Feeling that activation, the muscle engagements, opposite of the stretching. Now we'll begin to move with our breath. On your inhale, point the toes, lift the arms, arch the back, stretch. As you exhale, flex the toes, bring the hands back down by the hips, pressing down, engage the muscles. inhale, point the toes, lift the arms, arch the back, stretch. Exhale, flex the toes, bring the hands back down by the hips. Squeezing, pressing down. Now keep the lower body active and engaged like this. The toes are active, the legs are active, the booty is active, the hips are scooping down so that the sacrum is making closer contact with the floor. Keep this engagement. We'll inhale, just lift the arms up overhead, resting the arms on the mat. We're gonna move into our side body stretch. Grab the left wrist with your right hand. Drag the left hand along the floor, growing longer in the left side body. Keeping the belly engaged. We'll exhale, lean the arms, the torso over to the right side of the mat. Keeping the shoulders grounded down into the floor. You'll feel this nice stretch as you gently pull that left arm up overhead, resting on the floor. The stretch will run from hip to shoulder, maybe up into the arm. If you'd like a little more, begin to walk your feet over to the right side of the mat. You'll feel this stretch deepen and run all the way down, maybe to your ankle, up to pinky finger. Breathing into that left side body. Imagine that the ribs are getting a little longer. There's space between them is growing just a little bit more. Imagine that somebody's coming in and tickling your right waist. Turn those muscles on, activate and then squeeze the oblique muscles on the right side. One more breath here. And then we'll slowly release the feet, the arms back to center. Give your ankles and your wrists little circles here. Rolling them out, getting some movement. Nice. Now pause the circles, re-engage the lower body, flex the toes back up towards the sky, squeeze the glutes, draw the sacrum down to make closer contact with the floor, stretch the arms up overhead, engage the abdominal muscles, grab the right wrist now with the left hand, drag the right arm along the floor, growing longer in the right side body. Moving slowly with your breath, lean the arms, walk the torso over to the left side of the mat. Now we're getting a nice stretch in the right side body. Feel the shoulders ground down into the floor. The hips are actively pressing down equally into the floor. The belly draws in. And then walk the feet over to the left side of the mat for a little extra stretch. Looking like a banana or one of those sliver moons. Feel the right side of the chest open and expand with every inhale. Now imagining that somebody's coming in to tickle the left side of your waist. Turn those muscles on, maybe get a little bit more banana-y. Another breath here, this nice deep stretch running maybe from ankle all the way up to pinky finger. And slowly, release the hands, release the feet. Give yourselves another round of circles. Soften the lower body. We'll bring in the arms back down by the side. We're going to start drawing the knees into the chest. First one knee and then the other, giving ourselves a nice gentle hug here. Moving nice and slow, a gentle rock from side to side, helping massage out your lower back. Drawing the knees back over to the center of the chest. We're going to deepen the squeeze. Wrap your arms maybe around the knees, around to the shins. Lift the head up. Engage the feet. Draw the belly button in. Feel your core active and engaged. Engaging the muscles, maybe squeezing the muscles of the face, turning everything on here. And then slowly lower the head and the chest back down onto the floor. Place your hands on top of your knees, and we'll begin to draw big circles with the knees on the ceilings. Noticing any spots that just need a little extra time or attention. Now let's take the knees in the opposite direction. Great. One last little squeeze of the knees into the chest. And then slowly lower the feet back down onto the mat, keeping a nice bend in the knees. We're planting the heels down by the hips. Open up the feet so that they're hips distance apart. Open the knees up so that they're hips distance apart. Almost imagine that your head could fit between your knees. Change the lighting around so you can see me a little better on the floor. Tilt your pelvis so that your sacrum is making a little more contact with the floor. That might be better. So you're drawing your belly button in, rocking your hips so that the sacrum is making more contact with the floor. I'm not sure if that helped at all. Press the heels down into the floor, bring the hands down by the hips. We're setting up for our bridge pose. So we'll lift and spread the toes, slowly dropping the toes down one at a time, feeling this firm engagement through the full foot. Not just the heels, not just the toes, but the entire foot is actively pressed down into the floor. Belly is engaged, helping, straighten the sacrum down onto the floor. Squeeze the glutes. Imagine that you're, just squeezing your tush. We'll take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly lift the hips up towards the sky. This is a gentle inversion and back bend. So we're taking it nice and slow here. If your knees start to, talk about the pose, just lower the hips down a little bit. Continue to squeeze the glutes. We're building a lot of strength in the lower back. Checking in with our breath here, noticing how the breath is moving in and out of the body. If you're holding your breath or you're taking short, shallow breaths, again, lower your hips down and re-find that nice, smooth breath. Another breath here. And we'll exhale, slowly lower the hips back down towards the floor. Making contact with the hips. Open up the arms into cactus arms or airplane wings. And we're going to gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Just shaking out, moving the hips, getting warmed up, engaging the muscles. It's a cold day, so it's nice to get the muscles working before we start stretching them out. Bring the knees back up towards the sky. Bring the hands back down by the hips. Replant the feet nice and firmly into the floor. Feel the full foot actively press down into the ground. Squeeze the glutes. We'll exhale, lift the hips up towards the sky. Again, moving nice and slow here. Finding your edge. You might have noticed that you found a more comfortable bridge pose as you kind of came in and came out of it to find your breath or to complement your knees. So finding that spot that works well for you, you might begin to move a little bit on the shoulders. pulling the hands down underneath the body, reaching the hands underneath the hips. You might interlace the hands underneath the hips and pull the shoulders a little more, or you might just energetically reach the hands down closer towards the heels. Take an extra little squeeze in the glutes. We're going to find our edge where we're challenging ourselves, but we aren't hurting ourselves. We're not pushing ourselves beyond where our breath can maintain us. Nice and slow here. Slowly release the hands, unwind the shoulders, lowering the hips back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. When your sacrum makes contact with the floor, open the arms again into cactus arms or airplane wings and begin to windshield wiper the legs left and right. Now pausing that windshield wiper. Knees point up towards the sky. Draw the knees in towards the chest. We're going to grab on behind the backs of our thighs and take some rocks on the long edge of our spine. Just take a few rolls, massaging out the spine. Eventually meeting up, sitting on our mat with a nice bend in the knees. Just going to switch directions here. Grabbing on behind the backs of the thighs, we're going to take some seated cat-cows. On your inhale, lift the gaze up, arching the back, gazing up, dropping the shoulders down, finding that extra space between the shoulders and the ears. On our exhale, rounding down, feeling the spine articulate. Gazing at the belly button. Moving with our breath. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, soften and round. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, find that nice neutral spine. Pull the shoulder blades back and down, broaden through the collarbones, lean the torso back just a bit. We're going to walk the hands back behind the hips, fingers point towards the sitting bones, setting up for our Navasana boat pose. So knees are still parallel to each other, feet are still parallel to each other. We've got that nice hips distance position between the knees and the feet. Draw the belly button in, this nice broadness through the collarbones. Just almost imagine that you're taking a gentle back bend here, poofing up the chest. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, slowly lift one shin up towards the sky. Keep the belly drawing in, slowly lift the other shin up towards the sky. Feel the engagement through the lower belly. This might be where you want to be today, or taking the feet back down towards the floor. Or if you would like to continue moving forward in the pose, slowly extend the hands out towards the feet. Keep that energetic back bend through the chest. So we don't want to round in this pose in order to reach for the feet, but we want to feel like we're rebounding up through the spine, lifting up nice and tall, keeping that belly drawn in. On your exhale, slowly lower the feet back down towards the floor. Grab onto the thighs for another round of seated cat-cow. Inhale, lifting up, looking up. Exhale, rounding down, rolling down. Inhale, lifting up, looking up. Exhale, rounding down, looking down. Rising up to that nice neutral spine, broaden the collarbones. Find that energetic back bend, release the hands, plant the hands down by the hips, fingers point towards the sitting bones. Draw the belly button in. We'll take another boat. Take a nice deep inhale, figure out which boat you'd like to enjoy today. And then as you exhale, slowly lifting one or both legs at a time. Either leaving the hands here or slowly extending the arms out towards the feet, building up that muscle strength, warming up the body through this core engagement. You might even notice that the hip flexors are starting to feel active and engaged. The chest is feeling nice and warm here, using those muscles to keep ourselves from forward folding here. We're keeping that nice energetic lift through the torso. Lifting up just a little longer here. And then exhale, whoo, slowly lower the feet back down, grab on behind the thighs, inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, rounding down, gazing down at the belly button. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, rounding down, rolling down. Inhale, finding a nice neutral spine. Walk the soles of the feet together, open the knees out towards the side. We're coming into our bound angle pose. Pull the heels in towards the sitting bones. Maybe walk the booty a little closer to the toes. We're going to spend a little bit of time here, so find a nice kind of position for yourself, not pushing yourself into the deepest aspect of this pose right away. So first we're going to open up the feet like we're reading the pages of a book. And we're going to slowly start to massage our feet. Lending some of the warmth maybe from our hands down into our toes, into the arches of our feet, into the heels, just giving ourselves a little love today. Noticing any spots in the feet that maybe are needing a little extra time or attention, you can bring both hands to one foot if that feels nice for you. Feeling into the joints and the muscles here. Feet are really incredible. So just spending a moment of gratitude for our feet. Nice work. Okay. I'll pause the massage. We'll close our foot book back up. Grabbing onto the toes, let's lift and lengthen the spine. We're going to use some of this natural traction of this lift and pull to further lower the shoulders down the back. Imagining that your neck is getting a little longer here. We're taking some of this roundness out and lifting energetically up, drawing the belly in. Begin to draw the chin down towards the chest. Feel a nice stretch in the back of the neck. Breathing nice and slow here. Then slowly, gently lower your right ear down towards the right shoulder. Moving just so nice and slow. You can feel into, all the different areas in the left side of the neck. Being nice and gentle with ourselves. You might revisit your intention, your dedication as you feel into your neck. Sending those good thoughts might help dissolve some of the tension that can reside in the neck and the shoulders. And we'll swing the head nice and slowly, left ear towards left shoulder. Doing the same thing, just working into that right side of the neck, using gravity and the traction of our arms, pulling on the toes, that pulling down of the shoulder blades to help stretch out the neck. Taking a few nice breaths here. Again, just noticing where your mind is going as we sit in stillness. Slowly bringing the head back to center. Take another few half circles, bringing ear to opposite ear, or ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Revisiting any of those spots that really just asked for the extra time, the extra attention. And slowly, gently pausing back in the center, lifting the head up nice and tall. We're going to take that energetic back bend, lifting and lengthening the spine, maybe gazing up towards the sky, stretching out the front of the neck. Then we'll exhale, hinge forward from the hips, bend the elbows, lean forward, taking our bound angle pose into a forward fold. Hinging from the hips, nice length through the spine. Noticing when we can hinge no more from the hips, and then from there begin to round down into the pose. So we want to fold from a place of length. That will help protect the spine and the little, discs, the fluid discs, from being compressed, kind of funky. Continue to lengthen the spine on your inhales, and your exhales will help softly roll you down a little deeper. Any movement in the head and the neck that feels nice. Again, those little half circles or a gentle nodding of yeses and nos will feel nice in the shoulders maybe. We'll slowly pause any movements, taking another breath here in stillness. And then slowly draw the belly in. We'll begin to ragdoll ourselves all the way back up to standing, sitting. Nice length in the spine. Roll the shoulder blades forward, up, back, and down. Nice length in the spine. Bring the hands to the knees. Slowly help the legs back together. We're going to take the opposite movement here. Walking the feet out a little bit more. Slowly bring the knees together and the heels apart. You might rock the torso back a little bit here. Just feeling that sensation in the hips. We had them open for a very long time. So now we're taking the opposite movement, kind of closing them back up. Okay, nice. I'll walk the feet back to parallel, open the knees back up to parallel in this kind of supported, reclining, sitting position. We'll just gently windshield wiper the knees, again, left and right, moving nice and slow. Nice work. Coming back to center, we're going to roll over the legs and come into our tabletop position. Aiming to get the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath hips. And from here, we're just going to take a few breaths of bear pose. So any kind of free movements that feels really nice for you today, getting those wiggles out, moving the hips from side to side. Maybe resting in child's pose. You might take barrel rolls or the classic cat-cow. Shaking out the body, thinking of a bear coming out of hibernation here. Another few rests, just feeling into all those spots that might need the little extra time. until we can rest in some stillness. Claw the mat with your fingertips when you find that stillness again. Draw the belly in, feel your back grow nice and flat here. We're going to work into a little bit of our balance. We're going to start with our 50-50 plank and then move into some more stretch from there. So you are welcome to stay in this tabletop position, rest in child's pose, or find some variation that feels nice for you. I'm going to slowly start to kick the left foot back behind us. Get light in the right fingertips. Find a nice non-moving spot to stare at. We'll slowly extend the right arm out ahead of us. Imagine that the arm and the leg are getting just a little bit longer. You're reaching, pulling. Maintain the engagement through the belly button so that your back stays nice and straight. Those left toes swivel down towards the floor so that our hips are square. On your exhale, slowly open the arm out to the right, the leg out to the left. Building some serious core stabilizing muscles here. And bring the arm and the leg back to center. Slowly lift the left heel up towards the sky. So you're like holding a box between your glute and your heel. I'm going to reach back with the right hand towards that ankle. Swivel the thumb towards the floor with the hands. And we're just energetically reaching back towards that foot, towards that heel. You might make contact with it. You might just be reaching towards it. Slowly straighten the left leg. Release the hands if you were making contact. Bring the hand back front and center. Lower the hands, lower the knee. We're going to rock back into child's pose. Slowly bringing the hips over the heels, stretching at the arms. Give your wrists little circles here, a little massage in the wrists. Bring the gaze back up towards the top of the mat. Plant the hands down into the floor. Push into the hands, coming back into our tabletop. Finding that engagement through the belly. Nice flat back. Taking that 50-50 plank on the other side. Slowly kick the right foot back behind you. Swivel those right pinky toes down towards the floor. Draw the belly in. Feel that nice engagement through the belly. Begin to get light in the left fingertips. Slowly, gently extending the left arm out ahead of you. Keeping the belly engaged. Begin to lengthen the arm and the leg. Oh, feel that nice stretch here. Now staying here, rocking back into child's pose, or begin to open the left arm out towards the left, right leg towards the right. I found a wall. Feeling those muscles active and engaged. Don't lose the engagement in your belly like I just did. Draw it in. Now bring the hand and the leg back to center line. Bend the right knee, kicking the heel up towards the sky, keeping that engagement in the back of the body like you're holding a box. Bring the left arm back behind you. Swivel a thumb towards the ground. And then reaching back, you might make contact with the heel, or you might just energetically reach towards that back leg. If you've got contact with the foot, release the hands, bring the hand back to center, release the leg, lower the hands and the knee back down towards the mat, rock back into child's pose. Stretching out the back. Oh. Working into our side bodies, begin to walk the hands over to the left side of the mat. Finding any movement in the head and the neck that feels nice here, but really we're just getting a really lovely stretch through the right waist, the right side body. Walk the hands back over to center. And then over to the right side of the mat. Resting down, sinking down. Slowly walking back to center. Bring the hands forward. Lift the gaze to the fingertips, rocking forward into our tabletop just momentarily. And we'll tuck the toes back behind us. Slowly lift the heels up into our downward facing dog. So nice broadness through the shoulder blades. Heels lift up off the ground. Gentle bend in the knees. And then begin to pedal out the feet if that feels nice for you. Gently walking our dog. Feeling a nice stretch in the calves and the backs of the legs. Keeping the belly button drawing in here. Nice bit of active pose. Bring the awareness to your elbows. If you notice that you are maybe pushing the elbows all the way out, so they're completely straight, aim to bring a little micro bend into the elbows, helping, support those joints by developing additional muscle strength through the arms. We'll pause our dog walk. Take a nice deeper bend in the knees. Really push the sitting bones up towards the sky, lifting the heels up off the ground, coming kind of more onto our toes. Really push and accentuate this position. Getting that little gentle back bend. The shoulders are supporting us. Bring the gaze up to the fingertips and begin to tippy toe the feet up to the top of the mat. Walking all the way up. We're going to meet up in a forward fold. So nice gentle bend in the knees. Taking the weight out of the hands. You might give the wrists another little roll out, a little massage. You might just find stillness here, grabbing opposite elbows, or finding a gentle sway from side to side. You can kind of feel into this forward fold, seeing what, might feel nice for you today. Allow the head to hang nice and heavy. And slowly finding stillness here in our forward fold. Release the hands if you have them. Increase the bend in your knees. Squeeze the glutes, engage the belly. We're going to begin to slowly ragdoll ourselves up to standing. Moving up nice and slow. Head comes up last. Roll the shoulder blades forward, up, back, and down when you get to the top of your mat. Reach the fingertips down. Lift the top of the head towards the sky. Nice work. Feeling the groundedness through the feet. Take a little peek at your feet. Aim to get them parallel to each other. So it's pretty common for just natural standing for the toes to maybe fall out towards the outer edges, or I don't know, something a little non-parallel. So aiming to get the feet nice and parallel to each other. We'll draw the belly in, tuck the tailbone down towards the floor, broaden through the collarbones, take another little roll of the shoulders, bringing the fingertips down, lengthening through the top of the head, slight tuck in the chin. So here we are in our mountain pose, feeling nice and tall and strong, lifting through the legs, a little mini micro bend in the knees, just so we aren't hyperextending. Taking that work out of the tailbone. Here we'll inhale, lift the arms up overhead, lift the gaze up overhead. Exhale, open up the arms, swan dive forward, hinge from the hips, coming all the way back down. Place the hands on the shins. We'll inhale, rise up halfway. Pointing the tailbone towards the back of the room, head presses towards the front of the room. I'll exhale, forward fold. I'll inhale, slowly rising up, lifting up, extend the arms up overhead again, gazing up. And this time, bring the hands down through heart center in prayer pose. So we've been working on a bit of our balance, and we're going to work in some of the arm and shoulder stretches as well. So kind of a new pose today. We're going to take a modified eagle pose. So from here in our standing Tadasana, mountain pose, extend the arms down. We're going to lift the right arm in front of us, cross it gently over, and we're going to swing the left arm underneath, hooking around the elbows. Now pull the elbows down, feel the stretch in the shoulders. Slowly begin to bring the hands towards each other. You might be able to, wrap the hands, make the hands parallel, or this might be, where you are today. Everybody's different. Noticing the sensation through the backs of the shoulders. This is a nice opening through the back of the body. So really helping encourage more by pulling the shoulders down the back and across the back body. So they're moving down and to the outer edges. Now, so we've got our eagle arms here. So to find our eagle legs, we're just going to take a modified version. Take a gentle bend in the knees, ground down through the feet. We've been practicing balancing on one foot. So we're going to take that in combination with the arm. So if your balance is feeling a little wiggly today, you can stay in this first part of the pose, or you can begin to gently just lift the left toes, or lifting the left heel, planting the left toes. So finding that little bit of balance here by squeezing the right glute. Again, we've got a gentle bend in the right leg. If you're feeling ready to lift the left knee up towards the sky, you can do that and just flex the foot. I'm going to just stay here. We aren't going to move any farther into our eagle pose today, but this is some of the prep for it. Balancing on one leg with the arms bound. Keep breathing. Feel that nice stretch, that warmth through the shoulders and the upper arms. And slowly lower the left foot back down towards the floor. Release the arms. Swing the arms up and over. Get the blood moving. Oh, wiggle the fingers. Open the arms back up. We're going to keep the torso upright. We're just going to cross the arms over the chest. Give ourselves a nice big hug. Tipping the chin down towards the chest. Feel a nice stretch in the back. The arms. Well, inhale, lift the arms up. Lift the gaze up. Again. This time when we cross the arms, take the opposite arm over top, lowering the arms back down, giving ourselves a nice big hug again. Oh. And then that nice spread through the shoulders, the neck. Nice work. Slowly release the arms, lift the arms back up, lift the gaze up. Exhale, bring the hands back down by the side. Find that nice setup that we have in the feet and the legs. We're going to take those eagle arms on the other side. So roll the shoulder blades back and down again. Just feel that nice length through the neck. Extend the left arm out in front of us. Cross the arm gently across the body just a little bit. And then swing the right arm underneath the left. Aiming to hook around the elbows. Slowly begin to bring the hands towards each other. So your arms might stay here. They might, wrap the hands around each other, somewhere in between, lowering the elbows down, just pulling those elbows down the body, broadening through the collarbones in the back. So, shoulder blades pull down the back and out towards the sides. So we're getting a nice openness through the back body. Feeling that nice stretch there. So while we are feeling into our shoulders, I'll show you the full variation of eagle pose. So with the gentle bend in the knee, the same elbow that's on the bottom, the knee will lift up and cross over. So you've got like a bound chair pose, really squeezing down. So we're just building some of the prep poses for that by balancing on one foot and finding that space in the back and the shoulders. So from our standing position, feel the left leg grow nice and solid and firm, planting down to the four edges of the left foot. Find a little micro bend in the left knee, squeeze the glutes so that leg is feeling nice and solid and firm. And then we'll begin to get a little light in the right foot, lifting up maybe onto the right toes, maybe staying here for our balance component. This is quite a bit of balance. Or if you'd like to move a little farther, slowly begin to lift the right knee up, flexing the right foot, finding that engagement. And you might notice that one side is a little more wiggly than the other. I know I have a more wiggly side. But keeping the breath steady and smooth here. Finding that nice non-moving spot to stare at, helping with the balance, drawing the belly in. And slowly releasing the right foot back down towards the ground, releasing the arms. Wiggle the fingers as you release the arms down and lift the arms up, getting that blood flow moving. Ooh, wow. Oh, I feel like I've got all new arms. Open the arms back up, release the hands down. Bring the hands over the chest, give yourselves that nice big hug. Exhale, release the arms, lift the arms back up. I'll just take the cross on the opposite side as we exhale, release the arms back down. Dropping the gaze down. Nice big hug here. Nice work. So we did an arm bind as well as a balance pose, all wrapped up into one. We'll inhale at the top of our mat, lift the arms back up overhead, gazing up, open up the arms. We're going to swan dive forward, hinge from the hips, coming all the way down, back into our forward fold. Nice work. When you inhale, plant the hands on the shins, rise up halfway at our Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Plant the hands down into the floor. Slowly draw your left foot to the back of the mat. Swivel the outer edge of the left foot so that it's parallel with the short edge of the mat. We're setting up for our warrior two. Using the strength in that right leg, squeeze your right booty, engage the right thigh, use your core strength, slowly walking the hands up to the right knee, checking that our knee is anchored over the ankle. Have still your right arch is active. You haven't flattened the right arch. I'm going to open up the arms, cartwheel the arms nice and open, coming into our warrior two. Aiming to get the shoulders over the hips. Gaze can come over the right fingertips. Nice work. You're going to feel this right thigh really active here. Nice bend in that front knee. Find a little micro bend in the back knee. So again, we don't want to hyperextend and push the bones together. We want to engage that muscle so that we're working mostly through the muscles. We aren't requiring our ligaments and our cartilage to take on a heavier load. Nice work. Feeling nice and tall here through our warrior two. Slowly lower the right forearm down to the right thigh. Extend the left arm in a nice angle up overhead. So make sure you've got some space between the left arm and the left ear. We've got our extended side angle pose here. Engaging the abdominal muscles, slowly coming back into our warrior two, extending the arms out nice and long. And then cartwheel the hands down towards the floor. That was a lot of time engaging that right leg muscle. We're coming back into the floor pose here. Slowly, gently drag the right foot to the back of the mat. Meeting up with the left, momentarily hanging out here in plank pose. And then exhale, push the hips up towards the sky. Downward facing dog. You might pedal the feet out left and right again. And feel that movement in the hips. Shaking out the head, nodding yes and no. And I'll take that sequence on the other side. Bring the gaze up to the fingertips. Walk the feet up towards the hands. Forward fold, our Uttanasana. Softening down over the legs. Place the hands on the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands down into the floor. Slowly drag the right foot now to the back of the mat. Swivel the foot, the back foot, so that the outer edge of the right foot is parallel with the short edge of the mat. Take a nice deep bend in the left knee, stacking that knee over ankle. And then using our core strength, slowly walking the hands up to the left knee, finding our balance. And then we'll lift the torso up, shoulders over the hips, extending the arms out to the short edges of the mat. Angling those shoulders over the hips, gazing over the left fingertips. Nice work. We've got a warrior two. Taking a little peek at the left toes, you can still see them beyond the knee. That little tuck in the tailbone is going to give you more of a stretch in the right hip flexor, the front of the right thigh. Checking in with our breath, maintaining that slow, steady breath. Dropping the shoulders down the back. We're going to take this into our extended side angle pose. Slowly lower the left forearm down towards the left thigh. Extend the right arm up in a nice angle with the thigh. So the arm isn't angling straight up. You're getting more of a stretch as you tilt that right arm more towards the front of the mat. Keep the collarbones angling towards the wall. So instead of rounding down towards the floor, we're just finding that energetic lift through the torso. So nice work. That's a lot of time in the legs. Use your core strength. Slowly rise back up into our warrior two. And then cartwheel the hands back down towards the floor. Planting the hands, drag the left foot to the back of the mat. Finding that momentary plank pose, lowering the hips down so that our body is in one nice long line. And then exhale, lift the hips up again one more time, downward facing dog. Pedal the feet out left and right. Again, nod the head, yes and no. And slowly pause the dog walk, really push the hips up again towards the sky. Bringing the gaze towards the fingertips, begin to lower the knees back down onto the floor. Open the knees out a little wider here, bringing the toes towards each other. We're going to take just a variation on child's pose. Wide knee. Into the mat, finding that bit of heaviness. Thanking our legs for all that hard work they did. Let's walk the hands back up to the mat. Walking the knees back so that they're parallel to each other, hips distance apart. We're just gonna rock back up. We're gonna make our way over onto our backs. Keep your strap nearby. I just tend to wiggle my mat a little bit, so I'm just gonna readjust here. Slowly roll yourself all the way down onto the floor, drawing the knees into the chest. Give yourselves that nice little hug. A gentle rock from side to side. Now pausing our hip rock. Slowly release the left leg out nice and long and slow. Drawing a nice long line with the left heel, moving nice and slow, resting the heel on the ground. Keep those toes actively pointed towards the sky. Feel the nice engagement in the left leg as we keep the toes lifted up towards the sky. We'll take our strap and we'll place our strap at the bottom of the right foot, slowly extending the right heel up towards the sky, feeling a nice stretch in the back of the right leg. You might pulse the right toes towards the face, feeling a little stretch in the back of the leg and the calf. Now pausing slowly, take the strap into the right hand, place the left hand on the left hip. Keep those hips grounded. You slowly kick the right heel up towards the sky. As you exhale, open the right leg out towards the right side of the room. Keep the hips grounded down into the floor, shoulder grounded down into the floor. Feel this nice stretch running through the back of the right leg. Checking in with your breath. Feeling those sensations, whatever they are, wherever they are. Just making note of them. Not giving them a good or bad quality. Just feeling what you feel. Now engage the lower abdominal muscles. We'll slowly exhale, lift the right heel back up towards the sky. Grab the strap with both hands. While exhale, lift the head and chest up towards that left knee, finding that core engagement. You might even hover the left heel up off the ground. Bring it a little closer. And then slowly release the head and chest back down towards the floor. Take the strap into the left hand. Extend the right arm out towards the right. That airplane arm, using that as an anchor. We'll slowly, gently lower the right leg across the body, taking this into a twist. Keep the shoulders grounded down into the floor, but allow your right hip to come off the floor. By keeping the shoulders grounded down into the floor, we're working more into the twist. Getting a nice long stretch through the outer back leg. And bring your gaze over to the right fingertips. Breathing slow and steady. Bring the gaze back to center, engage the abdominal muscles. Exhale, lift the right foot back up towards the sky. Reflex the left toes, grab the strap with both hands. While exhale, lift the head and chest towards the knee. Keep breathing here. Maybe getting a little closer every time we do this. And then exhale, slowly lower the head and chest back down towards the floor. Release the right foot, slowly lower the heel all the way down. When the heel reaches down, allow the toes to fall out towards the outer edges of the mat. Just taking a moment here just to enjoy the sensation in the right leg. Noticing the difference between the two sides. Maybe wiggle the toes a little bit. Now flex the toes to point up towards the sky. Draw the belly in. Slowly bring the left knee in towards the chest. Place the strap at the bottom of the left foot. Kick that heel up towards the sky. Remember to keep the right toes flexed towards the ceiling. And just enjoy a nice gentle stretch in the back of the left leg. Maybe a gentle flex and pulse of the toes. Getting a nice stretch in the calves. Now pause the toe pulse, bring the strap into the left hand, place the right hand on the right hip. Slowly, gently open the left leg out towards the left side of the room. Keeping the toes flexed on the right foot. Keep the hips grounded, the shoulders grounded, feeling this nice stretch in the left leg. Using your core strength, exhale, lift the left leg back up towards the sky. Grabbing onto the straps with both hands. Exhale, lift the head and the chest towards the left knee. Getting a little closer every time, maybe hovering that right heel up off the ground. And slowly, gently lower the head, the chest back down towards the floor. Taking this now into a twist, bring the strap into the right hand, extend the left arm out towards the left. Moving slowly with your breath, cross the left leg over the body. Keep the shoulders grounded, but allow the left hip to come off the floor. Maybe even bring the gaze over to the left fingertips to enjoy a nice little twist through the neck. Nice. Bring the gaze back up towards the sky. Use the core strength. Exhale, slowly lift the left leg back up towards the ceiling. Reflex the right toes to point towards the sky. Grab the strap with both hands. Exhale, slowly lift the head and chest up towards the knee. Maybe again, hovering that right heel. Maybe not. Then slowly, gently lower the head and the chest back down towards the floor. Release the left foot from the strap. Draw a nice long straight line with the heel until it comes to rest on the ground. When it does, allow both sets of toes to fall out towards the outer edges of the mat. Softening through the legs. We're going to transition this into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So feel free to take any moves or any stretches, any wiggles that feel nice before we settle down and settle into our last resting pose. For Shavasana, reach the hands down by the hips, palms face the sky, so you get this nice openness through the collarbones. Take a gentle tuck in the chin so that the back of your neck feels nice and long on the back of the mat. And then release any breath patterns, release any thought patterns, release any control on the mind or the body, and just allow yourself to completely soften from toes and legs, hips and belly, chest, shoulder, neck, face, all relax and soften. Begin to bring a little bit of movement back into the fingers and the toes. Taking a nice deep inhale. Start coming back to your mat, coming back into your body. Finding those slow, gentle movements to help wake yourselves up. Begin to roll over onto one side of your mat. Without any urgency, gently pushing yourselves up into a comfortable seated position. Eyes can stay closed or the gaze softly lowered. Lengthening and lifting through the spine. Well, thank you all so much for your practice today. Thank you so much for being here. See you again soon. Namaste.